What's going on, people? It's Mr. back again with another Nottingham Forest interview, and I don't need to introduce you. This guy is, and it's Marlon King, ex-Nottingham Forest Jamaica international. How are you doing?
I'm all good. How are you doing? How's the weather over there? Looks nice and sunny.
Listen to me. I've got my woolly hat. I've got my coat on, and you look like you've had a tan.
I'm not going to rub it in, so let's crack on.
So Marlon, I want to start with. Let me start with your career with Gillingham. You're mostly known for the goals that you scored for Gillingham. How did your career at Gillingham start?
Well, it really started at Dulwich Hamlet and then on to Barnet. I was at Millwall as a kid, and I got released. That was under Mick McCarthy. I think they were in what is the equivalent of the Premier League now. I think Millwall, it was like the first division. So went down, done my trials to the YTS, and those days, out of maybe 30 players, 5 players get selected to go on to do the YTS and go on to do their pros. Unfortunately, I didn't get selected. I felt I was better than the majority of the players down there, and I didn't kind of mope about. I just went again. So I went to my local team, which is Dulwich Hamlet, which, you know, obviously I'm a Southend boy from Peckham, born and bred. And I was playing first team at a really young age, 15, playing against big guys in the semi-professional league. Dulwich Hamlet produced a load of players, to the Les Ferdinands, Ian Wrights, Jason Yules.
Good players.
Yeah, so that was a path for me because I knew a lot of the London scouts would go into those games. So then I heard about Barnet, but I was supposed to sign for Wimbledon at the time. But Dulwich Hamlet didn't tell me because I was 15, and to sign a professional contract, you got to be 16. So they wanted me to sign for Dulwich and then try and get some money out of Wimbledon. So they didn't say anything to me because I hadn't turned 16 yet. So then I found out about that, and then Barnet came in, and I said, no, I've got to go. And Barnet were the equivalent of being in League One, Division 3.
Yeah, Division 3. Yeah.
So I thought it's my way back into the professional game. Went there, signed the YTS. Only done a few months YTS because I was scoring quite regularly for the youth team.
Yeah.
And they signed me on like a 5-year pro, and then from there, it was at Barnet maybe a season and a bit. Got introduced into the first team, and then ended up signing for Gillingham. I think it was about 300,000 when I was about 19, something like that. But and then went from there.
So, like I said, you had a fantastic record at Gillingham, and then Forest. When did you first know that Forest was interested in you?
I remember the gaffer pulling me, and I'd just come back from a cruciate injury. I was out for a majority of the season, but I came back and I hit the ground running. And then I knew the club was in a bit of a financial pickle, and then gaffer was like, listen, a couple of clubs are coming, but Forest are the ones that have kind of made the chairman, who was Paul Scally, I think he's still chairman there, made him happy. So it wasn't really a case of me saying, oh yeah, I want to move. It was, we need the money, and this is what it is. So within the next few days, I went up, spoke to Paul Hart. I remember playing against Forest a couple of times. I think I scored in 2 or 3 games, home and away. So obviously made an impression, and then Paul Hart.
Score. I remember the game you scored past Forest.
Yeah, so it was a case where they called me. I went up there, and it was in January. So went there, and just, for me personally, like I've explained to you before, Forest is one of the clubs that I wish I had, because I knew what I was capable of, but I was almost playing within myself. I wasn't confident. It was a case. I was a young boy. I was moving away from London.
Yeah.
And it was like a new experience for me. And I love the city. And I had a good time in terms of how can I put it, training. But then I didn't. The club was going through a lot, and I didn't really hit the ground running at Forest. I mean, I'm sure all the Forest fans will agree with that.
As you know, we spoke before about Marlon Haywood left, and every Forest fan was expecting, Marlon King is going to replace Marlon Hayward. But you're a different you're a different type of player to Marlon Hayward, weren't you?
Yeah, Marlon's more pacey, over the top, more robust and direct. Where I feel like I was more of a goal scorer in terms of scoring goals. And at that time, we had Gareth Taylor,
David Johnson,
Jack Lester, and myself.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like the club were in transition, because at that period, which even now Forest fans believe that they should be back in the Prem, and the squad was still relatively strong.
Yeah, we played like Andy Reid, Michael Dawson as well, didn't we?
Yeah, but this is the thing: you had some coming in and some that wanted to move on to bigger things.
Yeah.
So you had like Reedy, you went on to Spurs, Dawes. So there was a lot of kind of uncertainty, and the club obviously coming down to the Championship, playing in Championship, they had to let go their better players, so to speak. And then you had David Johnson, was kind of on the tail end. He had a good season, a couple of seasons before.
Yeah.
Gareth Taylor was an older player. You had players like Alan Rogers, Desi Walker, I think, and then you had like young players like Wes Morgan.
Yeah.
It was a team full of quality players, but in terms of team spirit, that wasn't there, because everybody had their own agenda. And I'm sure Reedy and Dawes will tell you they knew about the interest. So what was going on in the change room behind closed doors wasn't what should have transpired on the pitch. We should have produced better than what we did at that period of time.
So you made 50 appearances with Nottingham Forest and scored 10. I'm going to mention this, like everyone told me to mention it to you, Marlon. That goal, the day, I think it was the day that Brian Clough passed away. It was a bit emotional that day. How was you feeling before the game?
It was a weird one, because it was almost, there was a lot riding on it. I think obviously we wanted to put in performance for Brian Clough, God rest his soul, and we knew that the turnout was going to be huge because the build up to that game, and then it was West Ham as well, so it was almost like Premiership club versus Premiership club in the Championship.
Yeah,
they had a big following, and they just got relegated. Forest have got a massive following. And it was like, it was two teams that were kind of picked to get promotion and kick on. And then you obviously had Marlon Hayward, who just signed for West Ham, coming back to his old team.
And he scored as well.
So, and he scored. So it was, there was a lot going on. And then obviously he scored the opener, and I was on the bench, and I wasn't happy at the time. I'll be totally honest with you. I wasn't happy. As I said, I was playing with myself, and I always say this to everyone: Forest is a club that I wish I'd got to show and showcase my real talents. The fans got on my back, rightfully so sometimes, but there was a lot change of managers and etc. But that game particularly, it was a full house, man, and I just remember
it well.
Just coming on, and then just, really finding me like he does. He's up there with Youngie in terms of, Ashley Young in terms of assist, and just knowing when people make their runs, and he just put it down the wing and cut inside my old teammate Malky Mackay, and just bent it. And it was a lot of emotion to me, because it's like, that's what I knew I could do.
100%.
But I didn't realise my potential at Forest when I should have. So that was kind of like, if you saw my celebration, it was kind of with anger.
With anger, you can tell. Your facial said it all. As far as fans, you just say, look, this is what I do. Please, I know, you said yourself, Forest fans were on your back, because, like I said, you're a striker, you're meant to be scoring goals. But that goal, the facial expression just said, oh, I'm here. Give me a chance.
Yeah.
This is what I do. And
yeah,
like I said, I know that, I spoke to a few Forest fans, they felt sorry for you, because, like I said, you had a great record at Gillingham, and personally, he wasn't given that fair crack. And
the club was in transition.
Yeah.
It was in transition. There was a lot actually going on, to believe it or not. You know, it was, and that's not to make an excuse. I mean, that seemed like the stupid thing to do, but it was a club that wanted to get back to the top where they should be.
Yep.
You know, European champions, you know, top club in the UK, like the Leeds, and it was like players looking for an exit. Some players were looking to prove themselves, and the fans getting frustrated with what's going on from the board to what we was delivering on the pitch. And for me personally, I wouldn't recommend any player move in January. You need a good pre-season under your belt. You need time, no matter what level you're at, you need time to mesh with your teammates and almost sink yourself into the atmosphere. And you need it to come in January, hit the ground running. It's very, very difficult because, you know, players, when they spend £1 million on you, the fans expect you to deliver straight away. So that's what it was, really.
So, Paul, like I said, Paul Hart got sacked. What was you happy? What was your reaction when he left the club?
No, it wasn't, because he was the manager that put faith in me. So it was, we weren't getting the results. You know, wasn't performing to the best of my ability. And Paul Hart is a great coach. And if you ask
100%.
if you ask, there's a difference between a manager and there's a difference between a coach. Paul Hart was a coach. Players loved him. His training sessions were great. Great person, very gentle, kind person. Well, to me personally. And then you had managers. Paul Hart was a coach, and there was a lot of characters in that change room that he couldn't control. There were big characters in that team.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, so it was like he didn't really have the respect of the change room.
100%.
So that caused, and that was part of why the results wasn't churning out. You have players that, listen, Gaff, I want to leave.
What players was there? What players was there?
I'm not gonna. There was players that left at that time and just after that, without me naming names. You know, there was, when you get speculation in the paper, you get agents ringing up. You know, you've got players that want out. So, you know, they're knocking on his door every day, and he's not a manager to tell them to do one. He's a nice guy, but he almost didn't. He's a bit like, how can I put it? Like Gareth Southgate when I went to Middlesbrough. It was the same thing. You have players like Mido, different Tunkai, that had big personalities, had been to big clubs, and he was just coming into his managerial career. Fantastic coach, but in terms of like him being able to gain respect at that time at Borough, and I'm sure he'll tell you himself, he's gone on to do great things with England, but if you look what he's done, he's got youngsters that he's earned the respect from, and at that time he had players that wanted to go in their own direction. So even though they had all the ability in the world, it weren't churning out results, and that's what happens in change rooms sometimes.
So Paul Hart leaves the club, and as we know, Joe Kinnear came in. What was your relationship with Joe Kinnear?
I don't think anyone had a relationship with Joe Kinnear.
I know, everyone said the same. Everyone said the same.
No, I'm being totally honest. You know, it's he came in, and obviously he'd done good things with Wimbledon, but his kind of appointment came at, he was almost like his name was picked over actually what he had done recently.
Yeah. That's
what I felt. I felt like they were brought in a name to try and appease the fans. And if you ask a lot of the pros, Alan Rodgers and stuff, there wasn't that connect with Joe Kinnear. He was the face of the managerial side of things. He wasn't a coach.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't see him doing the coaching side, taking training sessions.
Was it Hartford? Was it Hartford as assistant manager?
Yeah.
Was he? Did he do the work? Was it him who did the work?
He took the team talks. He took kind of the training sessions, and then Joe Kinnear will pop up now and again. But for whatever reason, he was just on a different kind of planet to what, not just me, but a lot of what the guys were used to in terms of like being able to have a relationship or understanding what the manager wants, because he wasn't hardly around. So I didn't see where that was come from. And then he called me and he says, "Listen, sell you, but they want their money back."
Wow.
He kind of told me that. So yeah, he told me that. So I said, okay, fair enough. I just got to crack on, come in, train every day, and get on with it. If that's the situation. And then I don't even think he got a chance to see me go, because obviously Gary Mixon came in after that.
I'm about to say Gary Mixon as well. Dude, your face says it all. Your face says it all. That's my first question, Marlon. Gary Mixon. Talk to me about Gary Mixon.
Well, we look. I'm sure if you ask the majority of the boys, I'm sure like you'll get a few more boys in there at that time.
Yeah.
We thought it couldn't get any worse. And then Gary Mixon came in. I mean, you hear about managers and stuff, and all we kept hearing about this guy loves to be like a lieutenant. He likes to run, and he likes to shout, and it was everything. It was Ron Seal. It was everything that it said on the tin. Likes run. Pre-seasons, well, the pre-season that I was there, I never really got to play under. It was only a few games I played under him, and he kind of sealed the deal for me leaving, because whether I was scoring goals or not, I wanted to go. I couldn't work for this guy. I mean, look, I'll tell you a story now. I was having my daughter. She was my firstborn.
Yeah.
And he told me I couldn't go to the hospital, and I said,
"No,
I'm dead serious." And I rang him. I said, "Well, Gaffer, you're gonna have to do what you're gonna do, because you're not gonna deny me seeing my first daughter born." He used to take our mobile phones. He was like, "No." On the way to hotels, confiscating the mobile phones, and I was like, "Well, what if there's an emergency? We are sportsmen, we're professional sportsmen, but we're not children. You know, you can't." This is what he used to do. He used to try and take our mobile phones and stuff like that. Oh yeah, give your phones to the physio or the fitness coach. And like a lot of us had, you know, especially the older pros at that time, like Jono and Gav Taylor, were like, you got to do one. So there was an instant disconnect as soon as he stepped through the door.
Like I said, I've heard so much stories about Mixon. I thought yours was more like, wow, let me get more on to see what his opinion about it, but that's mad.
The worst manager I've worked for.
Okay.
Hands down. You can. You've answered
one of my questions already. Then.
Yeah, the worst manager. Just brick kind of way of doing things. Training wasn't enjoyable. You know, he had like us in the army people. He had this fitness coach who was a little. Anyway, look. You're trying to draw me out of character here, but yeah, he just was like, he would do things like, we'll go on like a 5-mile run, and then he'll come out of his office and then join in the last mile, and then say, whoever finishes behind me is doing it again. So yeah, he obviously used to tell Reedy that he's overweight and make him do extra sessions. Poppy. Wes, he used to hammer about his weight, you know, really drain the confidence out of people. And you know, when he said to me about I can't go and see my daughter and that, straight away, yeah, it was out the window. And then I came in for pre-season, and then that's when he told me there's a couple of clubs interested: Wolves, Cardiff, Palace, and in Watford. And then that's when I made the transition from there.
Let me see a few more questions about Forest, Marlon. Like I said, you mentioned quite a lot of players. What players did you get along with and spend close to why he was in Nottingham?
Where's he? Where's Morgan? It's my boy. I spoke to him, I think, day before yesterday. Great lad. I think fantastic leader, and I think a massive, and Wes will tell you this, him kind of coming up under Des Walker helped his game massively, and even Desi as well. You mean Desi used to hang out. He's a legend, man. I love. We used to call him Uncle Des. You know, he I mean, he's a legend, but he had his ways of living, and he really embraced me when I came. He took me under the wing, showed me the city.
Where did you go? Whereabouts in Nottingham? Where in Nottingham did you go?
Well, I lived in the park. I was like Desi's neighbour. So
okay.
Yeah. All the boys. Do you know what? I must say, like, outside of the performances that weren't great, the bunch of lads we had in that change room, Dulce, quality, Reedy is a absolute comedian. We had things like, you would buy a brand new pair of trainers, right? Yeah. And it'll be a plain white Nike Air Force ones that like really plain with a Nike. Then someone like Reedy will get a marker pen, draw Reebok on one side, and then Adidas on the other side. So you've got your brand new trainers. You know, like you come in, you get out. You know the foam burst shower gel. You wash yourself down. You get out, and where Reedy used to sit, and Alan Rogers, they were the class like clowns in terms of like banter. They kept like the spirit alive. You get out and then you dry yourself, and then they've sprayed like foam bursts. You can't feel it with the foam bursts, and it will bubble up. So you put your t-shirt on, and you got like bubbles coming out your top. Cut your socks. So you go to put your socks on. Listen, I'll tell you a true story. I remember a couple of guys. I won't name their names.
Come on, mention them. You got to.
No. Took David Johnson's car. John used to like to ask him about this. He used to like to do extra gym sessions because of his knees and stuff. So he'd like to tick over. And the boys got together, took his car, followed each other, parked his car about 3 miles away, and left it on double yellow lines, and then drove back in their car and put his keys back in his pocket.
No.
So he's in the gym, he's come out, his keys in his pocket, he's gone to the car park. He's like, where's my car? His car got clamped, and he had to pick his daughter up for his kids from nursery. We had Tomo as well.
John Thompson. Yeah, John Thompson.
Yeah, him and Reedy were like prolific in terms of banter. They used to like put holes in your pocket, like cut holes in your pocket, in your socks. You know, cream cakes in your pockets when you go to get stuff that you got. Like, just take your trainers, and then we'll all go out for lunch in the city centre, and then they'll take your trainers and give it to like the local homeless man. So we're all going out to have something to eat. And then you see, like, you don't know where your trainers are. Yeah. And then the homeless man's wearing them. You know, it's things like that. But that's the sort of banter, I think, that kind of kept the guys together, because we knew, like, the management side of stuff and the ball side of stuff wasn't working out for a lot of us. But the team spirit within, like, the boys, even though we had different directions we were going in, was good banter.
Wow, that's mad. That's Marlon. Like I said, like you mentioned it, you didn't prove yourself. What was you got that you didn't for the Forest fans? You didn't prove that you could have done more. I know, like I said, Mexon was really hobbled to you, but like, do you?
No, that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. Sorry to cut you.
It's all right. It's okay.
I should. It's one of the things that I'd say that I look back and I think that like Forest is. Like when I went Leeds was a loan period, and that was to see out the season. I went there for 6 games. Yeah. I went there for 6 games, and it was kind of like I just kind of wanted to get away from Forest, like mentally. I wanted to not the city, I just wanted a different. And then when Leeds came, and I said, let me go there, and then I got played on the wing, and I just wanted to see the season out. But in terms of like, I look back and I think to myself, Forest is a club I know because I know how much the fans really appreciate when, especially a goal scorer scores a lot of goals. Yeah. And I knew I could do that. And I didn't hit the ground running. But it's a massive club. It's a big expectation, and I will say this openly. Sometimes I feel like the supporters, maybe sometimes the expectation is a little bit higher than what the realism is.
Yeah.
And that does add pressure to players, when managers keep changing. I mean, it took Leeds how long to get to that point?
Yeah.
And Forest are going through the same transition. It's gonna, you're gonna have to have a blend of youngsters, a couple experienced pros, and then a manager that is strong enough mentally to blank out what the fans kind of want from him. Because even if you look at Man United, Solskjaer was maybe a game away getting sacked.
Yeah.
Now he's in the top two, so it takes time. It does take time. It's football is matured in a way of you do get some overnight teams that run away and you don't expect it, and then you do get teams, especially the bigger clubs, where the expectations on there, and you're getting the Sheffield Uniteds, the Leeds, the Forests. When you're down in League One in the Championship, fans are still adjusting. Like, hold on a minute, cool up, European finalist and playing Stuart Pearce, Des Walker, all of these. Now we're here, so the quality of players that you've got to what you had is totally different to what your expectations are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, one question about Forest, Marlon. Do you like? What was your best memories? What was your best memories? Just like, it could be anything, like on the pitch, training, banter. What's best memory at Forest?
I think probably the goal at West Ham. The winning goal against West Ham. I mean, it was the two Marlons, and me, even Marlon here, would laugh about it now. He calls us the good Marlon and the bad Marlon. That you ask him, I never saw it like that. I was Marlon King, he was Marlon Harewood, but he saw it differently. And for him to score the opening goal, and then for me to come off the bench and score the winner, and the way that I did as well on that occasion, I think that's probably my best experience of being at Forest.
We're going to talk about, like I said, you left Forest and your career at Watford. It was great career at Watford, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. No, I think I expressed myself more, and that's what I'm saying. That's the most frustrating thing, because with Nottingham Forest, I didn't deliver what I should have, or what I know I was capable of. At Watford, I got a manager who totally believed me, and actually signed for Watford when quite a few clubs were in for me. Not because so much financially, it was just I had somebody that was like, no, I want you to be my number 9. And I was with AD Boothroyd at Leeds.
Yeah.
He was the first team coach. This is what I'm saying about being, sometimes there's really good first team coaches, sometimes there's a manager. To get the two in one is very rare. And that was his first job. They just came down from the Premiership, and a lot of players left, similarly to to Forest. But the difference was there wasn't such expectation. And I think that's why when a lot of the players that came in weren't expected, or came from clubs where they weren't playing, or they're telling the career, and we just kicked on, man.
I can talk about your international days with Jamaica. When you knew Jamaica it was interesting you to play for him. What was you like jolly about it?
Yeah, no. Do you know what? To be honest, I'll tell you the story. I could have played for Republic of Ireland. It was a chance, but at that time, trying to trace my grandmother was an issue, because my mum was adopted. So the paperwork at that time was a bit of a grey area, and then they kind of had Clinton Morrison that kind of filled that void. But yeah, I was supposed to play for the Republic of Ireland, but I didn't at that time, didn't have the paperwork. And then Jamaica came in, and then they were going into World Cup qualifiers. So the majority of my family members that I know of are from that side of the world, and just made sense.
Can you remember your debut goal against Jamaica?
Yeah, I think it was a crazy one because
Venezuela, I think it is.
Venezuela.
Yeah, that's it.
They're a quality side as well. You really get to see international football. You get to see, especially South Americans, different style, different pace. And I scored on my debut. And then after that goal, I didn't really even get to celebrate because we had to leave so we could catch the flight back because I had a game. And then the gaffer was like, no, you got to get back. So usually there's like a 2-day process in terms of like when you play, stay there for a couple of days and get your flight back. But it was me, Richard Langley, I don't know if Jamie Lawrence. So then we got straight back on the flight because the flight was about 11 o'clock Jamaican time and the game finished at maybe about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it was I didn't really get to take in what was going on.
Oh, okay. There's a few quick questions, Marlon, for you. As a striker, who was your best partnership? Like, not for just Forest, for your whole career, who was your best strike partner you played with?
At Watford, I'd say Darius Henderson.
Darius Henderson, good player. Yeah,
because he was a handful. He's similar to Djukovic as well when I was at Coventry. He's at another one of my old clubs, Birmingham. I'd say that because of what they offered. They actually took 2-3 defenders out of the game, and it's a case of like big Ife Anora at Gillingham. Like when I go back to like
good player,
old school shit.
Player.
Big defenders hate playing, which allows you to kind of get in and do the rest. But that's if you're talking about assist, you're talking about sheer quality. You got players like Nathan Redmond, Andy Reid, Ashley Young. For his assist and just knowing where you are, those are the sort of players you like playing with because they just know when you make a run and they deliver where you're going.
Who's the best player that you played against?
Well, I'll tell you this, we was I must say there comes a point where every player will experience watching a player while you're playing against them. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm in the game, but I'm sure even other managers, opposition managers, would go bloody hell. And I'll say Ronaldo. He's ridiculous. He's doing stuff that is not normal, and he's to 36, 37. He's still delivering 50, 60 goals a season. That's not normal, regardless of whether they compare him to Pele or whatever. This is a different time and age where the physical attributes, players are top notch. You've got players from Africa and that just machines, and he's still doing that at his age. And just watching him, because obviously we're at different ends of the ground. So when he's doing what he's doing, you're almost sitting there as a fan going,
"Wow,
yeah, special."
Wow.
Yeah.
Players like who was the most? Actually, no, defenders are dirty. Who's the most annoying defender you've played against?
I'd say 2 for different leagues. I'd say for Championship / Premiership, Jolan Lescott.
Yeah.
Me and him had constant battles. But then obviously you've got the Terrys, Rio Ferdinands, even Big Wes, even my boy Wes. He's just in training. He's annoying. He kicks you. He's just no nonsense. I tell him all the time. Like I used to tell him, like, Wes, this is just training, man. Come on. But I'd say out of all of those, maybe not the most technically gifted, Vidic.
Yeah, Manu.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen the film Universal Soldier.
Seen it.
He should be in that movie. The guy is he don't care about looking good. It's I'm going to defend and I'm also going to take you off your game. So if he knew you had pace or you was dangerous within the box, he's punching, kicking, he's looking to where the referee's looking and the linesman. I mean, you didn't have VAR and all these cameras.
Yeah.
And he's making sure he gives you a dig, whatever. So you know, he's got you off your game before you even touch the ball. So I'd say Vidic for me was an absolute rash.
2 more questions, Marlon. Who's the best manager that you played with?
I told this to everyone. Eddie Bruford is a personal friend of mine. Still in contact to this day. He's at the under-21s doing really well.
Yeah, he is.
As I said, he knows how to bring out the best in players that are willing to listen. Same with Chrissy Houghton. It weren't just their coaching, it was their attention to detail as well. And they knew what player needed an arm around them and which one needed a kick up their arse. And that was the difference between some managers going, right, you're not playing, you're not in my team, so I'm just going to alienate you. Those managers knew that they will need every aspect of the squad, because your top striker, your top defender might be injured. So that player, if you've alienated him, when you bring him back in, he ain't 100% there, and then he's feeling like, well, I'm playing on edge, because if I do make a mistake, and when this guy's fit, who's the gaffer's favourite, he won't get to express himself. But they had a knack of going, all right, Kingy, for instance, I'm not going to play you today. I'm going to play Big Zidic. He's 6'7", and I know I'm going to play Nathan Redmond and Nikola Zidic up front, and then you can come on the last 30 minutes after they've been exhausted, and they'll explain to you their reasons behind not playing you, so you can mentally prepare yourself for the game. So I'd say those two for those aspects. Not the biggest names that I've played for, but...
You mentioned Chris Houghton, Marlon. He's the Forest manager. Do you think he's it's been 22 years Forest has been the top flight. Do you think he's the right man to get Forest up? And do you think he needs time?
No, he needs time. Listen, you've got to look at the man's record, okay?
100%.
Newcastle, they got relegated. He got them promoted, stabilised them in the Premiership, okay? That's when Andy Carroll went and got his move to Liverpool.
Yep.
For whatever reason, I got rid of him. Came to Birmingham after Alex McLeish. Alex McLeish actually signed me and then went to Villa, came in, got us into the playoffs. And that season we was in Europe, so he played about 66 games. It was ridiculous. It was like Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for the majority of the season. So that was, and you know, obviously Blackpool beat us in the semi-finals. It was very close, but we were burnt out. Went on to Brighton.
Yeah.
Norwich. You know, his history speaks for itself. So, you know, Forest can't keep going through the habit of kind of changing managers, because that process of being in the Championship and jumping to the Premiership is not going to happen overnight. You need somebody who's going to get the full backing, not just from the fans, but also from the board, and be able to get players at the right. It's all about timing.
100%.
When you guys got him, because I know Birmingham wanted to try and get him back, and they got Karanka instead, which I thought, whether Chrissy wanted to go there or not, I thought Chrissy probably would have been suited to Birmingham. Fans love him, done a great job there, but he's came to Forest, and it's all about stabilising, get to the summer, I let him reshuffle and get that blend of the youngsters, the hungry ones, and that experience of knowing how to get out of the league. He's going to need players like that. He's going to need to know players that have been in and around the playoffs and can get a few frees and stuff like that, and for the fans just to get behind him and make him feel just like a player, like they're really wanted at the club.
Do you miss playing football, Marlon?
No, I don't. I'm very happy.
Living your life. Living your life.
Yeah, no, look, I prepared for the end of my career while I was playing football. So I knew, especially when I went to Sheffield United, that was for me, was just like, just seeing how long I can go. But my knees weren't up to the game. And it got to a point where I didn't really want to get any more operations, because I still wanted to be 40, 50, running around with the kids and going gym with the kids is what I do. And I didn't really want to go into coaching or anything like that. I've always been a person that I wanted different challenges. So, hence, I watch games when I can, for the results when I can, but it's not something where I put myself in the box to go football. Because it can, and you see players get mentally destroyed when the tail end or when they finish their career because they put all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And when that's taken away from them, they suffer mentally because they don't know, they've never tried to do something different. And I suppose it's like any walk of life. If you're a plumber and then that's it, you can't do plumbing anymore. You know, try and be an electrician, try and be something else. You've got to adjust. Look at COVID. It's got people doing podcasts and interviews now.
Exactly like you, like yourself, Marlon.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just talking to my phone. So it's all new. Yeah, it's all about adjusting it. Life is all about adjusting. And
100%.
As I said, COVID now has really taken people out of their comfort zone without them having the choice of coming out of their comfort zone. So when you do feel comfortable, find something that makes you feel uncomfortable. So when you're uncomfortable, you're comfortable.
You know what it is? I'm a YouTuber, Marlon, and because I do vlogs, and now we can't go to games. I've got to interview, like you've got to do something I feel uncomfortable with, and you're my seventh interviewer as Forest players, and I'm not media trained. I'm not media trained like.
You're doing a great job, mate.
And thank you very much for that. Thank you. And I thought to myself, I've got to do some plan A, plan B, plan C, and to interview someone like you, Marlon, ex-Forest player. I have really enjoyed this interview.
No, anytime, man. I mean, look, as I said, it was my kids that got me on this Instagram thing, and I try and use it when I can. And they always saying to me, Dad, you know, you got to step up to the times, kind of thing. But no, you're doing a fantastic job in your Forest gear, and I'm sure they'll be proud of you out in the freezing cold weather. Just putting good interviews, and I hope that you go on to the next stage and get some more players. I'll encourage them to.
Oh, thank you, Mon,
to come on here. Any of the boys that are watching, it's been brilliant. You know, he sends links and guides us through it. So no, it's been a joy, man. I don't mind it.
You know what? Thank you very much, Marlon. And people, this is Marlon King. He's like I said, this guy is fantastic. Like I said, he didn't have his time in Nottingham Forest, but as a footballer, he's fantastic. But Marlon, like I said, thank you very much for taking your time. But before you do, whereabouts are you? You're not in England. Where are you?
No, I live in Zambia. My wife dragged me here.
So you're living the life. Nice weather, beautiful kids, good dogs. You've got it.
It's to be honest, I've been here 6 years now. And my wife's always talked about coming here. So she was born here.
Okay.
My wife was born. Yeah, she was born here. So it makes the transition a bit more easier when she speaks the language and can teach me a few words. Maybe some cuss words here and there. But yeah, no, I enjoy it. The kids are okay. Living in the sunshine, can't complain. You know, I just hope everybody back home and around the world are safe. And it's difficult times, it's testing times. But if everyone can get through COVID mentally and physically, there's not much more that can be thrown at us as human specimens. So 100%. I wish you luck, man, and stay safe. And good luck for the season, man, because as I said, Forest, one of my old teams, regardless of my time, they always keep an eye out, especially with my old gaffer there. Top man was always good to me. And I hope you go on. I hope you kick on like Leeds, man, because Leeds, the Foresters, the Sheffield United, the Wolves, they all need to be in the Prem, and that's what makes it exciting.
But like I said, people, this is Marlon King. And if you did enjoy my video, make sure you do subscribe if you're new. But like I said, Marlon King.
It's fine.
Thank you very much for taking your time and being honest in this interview.
No problem. Anytime. Stay safe.
Stay safe, Marlon. Thank you very much, Marlon. Cheers.
Cheers.